Ruby Frank, the Duggars, these different types of scandals are in and out of the news, showcasing why people distrust the church or have religious trauma, leave the church. You and I grew up in church together.
Mm-hmm.
We have vastly different experiences.
Oh, yeah.
What is your take on that?
Well, see, like you stated, we grew up in the church in the middle of the Bible Belt, but I don't know if you were ever, it seemed as though you were aware. I know I was very aware of the very obvious elephant in the room that never seemed to be addressed. It seemed like hypocrisy was everywhere, and that church...
That's the number one word, hypocrisy.
Yeah. It's like the church was used as a
leverage
and a tool to manipulate. So like with Daddy, he struggled with addiction, and it was like a cycle, and like while he meant well with it and he really truthfully wanted it to be for our betterment, and I understand that now after conversation since then, because he actually was a big reason why I never stopped believing. I was scared to stop believing, actually, because we were...
You think you're going to go to hell if you stop, or if you have slightly different views, or if you question anything?
If you even think about it, you just have questions. Wrong. Oh man, I will never forget in the 6th grade, I had not even the 6th grade, the 5th grade. I'll never forget it. Rest in peace. I loved this kid to death. I had the hugest crush on this kid. He was mixed, and I can't say his name on here, obviously, but I would have, you know who he is. So I remember thinking we were going to hell for having a crush on anybody outside of our own race, because Mommy, you remember Mommy
she grew up in a very small town, so
in the most cracker-filled county, BFE, in the foothills of North Carolina.
She said there was never like a black person or African American in her school until they were in high school.
Yes,
so
that's right.
Like it's like a foreign concept to her. Like
at that time when I was a child, just barely hitting puberty, I'm having to pray the jungle fever away, or I feel
Not
like
the
I
jungle
need to.
Fever.
I swear, I felt like I needed to pray the jungle fever away. I was really...
And see, that's a different experience, because when I was going through that, our father would tell me like, or remind me like, that's natural. Those things are natural to like have crushes, stuff like that. And I think our mom would tell me it was natural, but I think they were more worried about you for whatever reason. They didn't. And I was more shy, so they weren't as concerned with me.
I definitely didn't want to have children in high school. I wanted to get the hell out of Dodge. I wanted to take my butt to college, have my time there, and start a career. Yeah. Like, my goal was, I didn't even think I wanted kids, because, And
that's the funny thing, because you always said you were going to be a dog mom, and here I am, the married one. I have no kids yet, and I'm currently a dog mom of 2, and you're living the exact opposite life.
Right.
Literally the divorcee with 2 kids. Back to the topic of religion. I still will always identify as Christian. I'll still believe in Jesus and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have my own issues with the church. I'm very skeptical or hesitant to joining churches.
Mm-hmm.
I use a lot of discernment and protect my heart from from the church.
Like because Elevation Church.
Oh my gosh. I know.
It's like a cult.
It is a cult.
It's a for-profit church, isn't it?
It is.
Oh my God.
It's for profit, and they try to win you by giving you free stuff. The first thing they gave me...
I mean, that's how they get me when I was in college. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I mean, that's college. It's a business. They
got me out of
They
the
don't
dorms
hide
on
that
the
they're a
weekend.
business. The church, these big...
But I knew it was a cult then.
But listen, when I went to Elevation for a summer, and it was fun. The speakers I found to be, and that's what I'll call them, speakers.
Yeah, I know.
They're trained professional speakers. I wouldn't even say that they were true, genuine preachers. They were very powerful, and I was like, wow, you know, and I was 18 at the time. I was like, this is like transformative, like these things that I'm hearing, and I'll give them that. But the first thing they do, if it's your first day or your first visit or whatever, they win you over by, oh, go get a free t-shirt. You're a new member or a new person or whatever you're visiting. Free. And then the first thing you see when you walk into Elevation is a gift shop. A gift shop.
I know.
I'm like,
I know. I had some friends in my dorm on my hall that were they would volunteer for it and stuff, and they were balls deep, man. It was. And they were some good kids, but
yeah,
I think they had enough discernment to understand what was going on. But there was no other. I mean, we're college kids. That's
you get what you get. You get what you get.
And the free stuff for the broke college kid. Come on now. I really don't care enough about politics.
I know really. I hate politics because it's just lies and deceit
and control.
Like, you know, and it's just.
And I think
we shouldn't put all of our energy into politics because that's not where the real change happens anyways.
But I believe that that's why a lot of people are leaving the church or organized religion, because politics has a pull on it. There is no separation of church and state. Back in biblical times, you could just claim that you are husband and wife, and you are then married. You were wed.
It wasn't like the big thing that it is today. Like,
but there was no written thing. You didn't have to go to court and pay all these lawyers.
Because marriage is in the heart.
You sold a goat, and that was all she wrote. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Here, I'll give you this goat and some cows for your daughter. Literally. And we're wed. Oh, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. This is control. It's a manner of which to control people, because we all have a belief system. Even the ones who are like atheist, for example, their belief system is there is no, they don't believe in an afterlife. Mm-hmm. And, well, theoretically, maybe they just believe a continued life, because really, when you get into the sciencey side of things, there's all different belief systems.
Yeah. And see, I believe science and math, numbers, they explain creation. Mm-hmm. I don't think they should be two separate. I don't think they are two separate entities. I think science is just a way to explain what's in front of us, the creation in front of us, so we understand it. And I also believe that science will not answer everything. I mean, we can't. That's why they're still trying to figure out things.
Just like, okay, so back to
they can't, I mean.
You use the science and.
Because humans are the ones we're imperfect, so what makes you think that the science we're using, the math we're using is perfect? Because the being doing it is imperfect.
Well, that's my point. So here's another twist. And so science and religion. What was one thing Grandmommy would not let us watch? Do you remember?
I don't know. You need
Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Oh, nothing about witches. I wanted to be a witch for Halloween.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter was
Bewitched. And we knew we had discernment and knew, but
it was just fictional, fun, whatever. I mean, we're not dummies. Like, even if we were kids,
and I get it, but they were raised on fear and shame too.
The way that they see it, and I understand it too, is like, don't, even though we
leave yourself vulnerable.
Don't open those doors to be affected. It's like listening to bad music that has bad messages just for the beats, but in time, the message will start to imprint in your mind. Those kinds of things.
Well, I get that, but my point with bringing that up is you brought up science, and one of my favorite quotes, and is so true. I don't remember who said it, but it was, magic is just science that hasn't been discovered yet.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that is so true, because think about it. It used to be considered a magic trick to like, what was it? The manifesting. That used to be considered witchcraft.
Yeah, I have a really,
and
I'm
something
having
about psychological disorders. You're considered possessed, or they used to hang bitches. I think organized religion as a whole is created and manipulated by political powers to keep us stuck and maintain control. Because it's, who's it geared
I don't
towards?
think that's why
more
it was
of the
created,
lower and
though.
the upper middle class.
I think it was because the Bible is the Bible, or like whatever book you believe in. It's that I think people use it take advantage of it.
Yeah, see, that's
I don't
where
think it was
differ.
I don't think it was created to take advantage. I think it was, those were the messages that were left behind for us, but people took it and was like, "Ooh, I can use this as."
Well, they're the translated versions that we have is what.
Well, yeah.
Yes. So, but
that's what I'm saying. People twisted it to take advantage.
I think
of vulnerable people.
I think,
or to control the masses.
I think, in a sense, I went to school with a girl, Rebecca. She was one of our cool friends that she looked like the stoner chick that actually wasn't a stoner chick. She's the sweetest, quietest person ever, but she was so funny. And she believed in not one single religion. And I always, once she said it in our history class, because he went around asking, what our, beliefs were, if we were comfortable sharing. And she said she, kind of believes in all of them. And he's like, what the heck do you mean by that? You can't believe in all of them.
That's universal. They call it universalism or something.
Well, it's like they all have one key theme. Whether it's multiple gods or like even Satanism. If you look at, I went to school with pagans and stuff. If you look at what their core values are, they aren't overtly cruel or evil. It like do unto others is like it's core principles.
It's just how you use it.
And
just how you use it.
And the law of quantum physics and all that rabbit hole diving I've done in my healing journey, I have learned that it's more about what you believe. What you believe will manifest into your reality.
I mean,
whether
that's
subconscious
in the Bible,
or conscious. Exactly.
Those things are in the Bible. Like, speak it and it will, whatever.
And
I forgot the verse, but
they're telling us the secret. The secret and that was considered,
witchcraft.
Don't watch. Mommy was watching that on Oprah. I remember her watching that on Oprah and me like trying to find it. And I remember seeing it and watching it, but I was so young that I didn't really have enough emotional maturity yet to be able to really practice it full on. But I did manifest something.
What'd you manifest?
I almost fully manifested, but like I didn't truly believe it. But I almost, you remember B5?
Yeah.
Like carnal breeding of B5.
Yeah, I remember a couple years ago I had texted you that I saw, and I was so dumbfounded. I was like, how is one of the B5 members following you? And I guess it was Carnell, because I remember you texted me saying, oh my God, that he was my favorite. I was like, why is he following you? How does he?
I didn't even know he was following me.
I was the one who brought it to your attention. I don't understand
That's
why.
where the law of detachment comes into play.
I'm like, how in the world is a B5 member following you? Like, how does he know you exist?
My delulu-ness.
Not your delulu-ness.
That's what I'm saying. So I didn't fully manifest it because I didn't fully believe that I could get all the way and actually marry him. And I was holding my first kiss out for this man. You have
Not
no
your
idea.
first kiss.
My first kiss. I wanted it to be not on my wedding day. I wanted to have a practice run real quick. That's how Holy Roller Bible Thumper I was. Okay? That's why I thought it was quite insulting, really, that the rentals thought I was going to be...
The rentals?
The rentals.
We're talking about parents?
The parentals.
The parentals, okay.
The rentals. Tick mark. Anyways, so I really was insulted constantly. That's why I was really so angry, is because they always assume the worst about me. I'm like...
I know, they
Bro... I'm just
They
trying
didn't even
to,
give you
like,
a chance.
Like, I'm just automatically a piece of shit just walking into this bitch. Like, what the hell did I do? Not just like, that's why you felt that way about me, because I felt that way from them. I'm like, what the hell makes you that so special? And that's that golden child thing from, you know, having narcissistic, codependent parents.
And I don't know why. I guess both of our parents were the youngest. So I think they gravitated towards me, felt like they needed to protect me because they knew.
Well, that just sets me, I never even thought about that. You are right.
They are both the youngest. Because I would have conversations with our mom about, you know, Mom, she would tell me, she's like, you know, I'm the youngest and I understand what you're going through and stuff like that. And she would say things like, I feel like I need to protect you, that kind of thing. You know? And I feel like it's an unfair advantage since both of our parents were the youngest and you were just...
I just jack shit, bro. But I never thought about that. I really haven't. That makes sense. But god dang. So yes, I was angry all the time. Because I was just trying to be perfect. I literally was trying to be Jesus. Because I could do nothing right for these people.
And you know, our father, you know, it was always an event going to church. It wasn't like, you know, we can be happy, have a good time going to church. So we don't have a happy association with church.
Because we were always cussing, arguing, threatening to get our ass whooped if we didn't go.
We were always crying on the way to church.
And on the way out,
literally,
too.
like, yeah.
And the kids were so awkward.
And and that's another reason, you know, our mom has her own beef with organized religion because she claims that she was spanked with a belt every Sunday after church when they got home.
I believe that. Granny has a wild side. I believe that.
I believe that. Like, I can get...
Granny has just about had enough.
Not had enough.
When that upper lip disappears and she...
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, you better start running. She never put her hands on us, but I'll never forget her hacking up that loogie on me in response to me. Because you remember, she left us home with Grandmommy so they could go out to eat or do something. And she said, you better not hit her. You better not put your hands on her or I'm going to be grounded.
Who?
To me. Mommy said to me not to put hands on you, or I was I was going to be grounded for another month or whatever, or I was either going to be grounded for something or ungrounded if I didn't put my hands on you. So what'd I do? Because you was coming for me. And the only way to protect my cornered ass was to spit on you. It was foul. I do agree. But Granny, she hopped a loogie on me, and I just slipped.
That is hilarious because I don't...
In pure shock because it wasn't you receiving a loogie.
She was giving you what you dished out.
I know, and I was just like dumbfounded because Granny.
I don't even remember that, and like
she says,
I wouldn't have expected
you go
that
low, I go lower. She went straight to hell. She took it there. That was the most
she said, you get what you give.
I have never seen Granny in such a, she was ready to fight, and she got me good because I was so shocked I couldn't even. I was too stunned to speak.
I wish I had.
I didn't even. I just shut the hell up. I just shut the. Lesson learned.
I wish I remember that because I don't.
It was in Indian land.
Indian land? She really did
Yes,
that in Indian land?
it was. I could still see her face because she had the crazy eyes ready to.
Yeah, because something will switch in her real quick.
She was ready for me.
But yeah, so going to church was never like a fun experience. It was always traumatic. Like
it was punishment.
It was always crying
and control.
I remember like sniffling up my tears walking into the church. I'm like, and so I hated church, but I always received the message at church.
Yeah, like I never didn't believe, but I just really wanted to do it in my own. And it does say in the Bible, like the Bible closed says, doors do the same thing, basically.
Right. It says
don't just showboat.
Well, it says literally like don't believe what other people are telling you about the Bible. That's why you have to read it for yourself, because you can be manipulated if you just believe everything someone's telling you that the Bible is saying. So you've got to read it with your own discernment, your own, what you believe the message is telling you. Right.
And I tried to read the Bible cover to cover. That's not the way to read the Bible, clearly. Yeah. But I tried to do that.
Because it's all about context.
I made it halfway through Genesis, maybe to Exodus in the 6th grade, and I started going cross-eyed. It was so hard for me to understand because it's so dry, because I was reading the King James Version, whatever. Even the NIV, though. It really just did not.
I think NIV is what I've done.
The math wasn't mathing for me. And my brain, when I read, and it sends me down mental rabbit holes constantly. So I never get the full context. I have to read and reread. So I paid attention to the general themes.
That's why they, that's why they, what defines good? Because what good, because people have their own definitions of good, and that's why, religion is in there to tell us what is the good.
Well, the discernment.
What's the moral compass versus what the world sees as the moral compass.
I believe it's more like control, though. But good, as a sense, that's why that do unto others as you have done unto you. Even serial killers, they do not want to be murdered. So they know what they're doing is wrong. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's very obvious. The core value right there is just...
Like, in your heart,
what is right. That's where discernment comes from. Right. And all of us have it.
That's why, even with, like...
You just have to tap into it and utilize it, because a lot of people just ignore it.
Yeah, and that's where politics gets confusing, because people want to look for a wrong or right, but there's always the gray area.
And like the emotions. And our parents, especially our mother, are very black and white thinkers. And it took... Like, I didn't want it to be black and white. I just...
You knew there was some flexibility to certain
things.
The
adults were telling me it had to be this way, so I always saw in grace. But because these adults were telling me that was wrong, I ended up thinking that way at one point, and it caused a lot of emotional turmoil within me, because I'm like, this can't be right.
Right.
And, boy, there's way more grace.
Yeah. And we're supposed to give grace, and we're supposed to serve each other.
No, grace, like the color. There's way more grace.
I heard,
but grace, grace, people do need grace, but
yeah, there's gray areas. Yes, there's definitely a connection to politics and religion, because down to the the nitty gritty, politicians want us to pick them. So they don't care what. I mean, most of them. There might be some good, genuine, wholesome politicians out there, hard to find, but they want you to pick them, so they're going to tell you what you want to hear to pick them. So, whether that's them pulling on the religious aspect or just, emotions.
And because I went to school for marketing and management, like, it's a sales tactic. Like, I'm in sales. It's sales tactics are nothing more than manipulation, whether it's benevolent manipulation or, just straight up coercive
Yeah, literally.
tendencies. Like, so we are told to lead on emotion, because that's what I have never bought anything. I mean, aside from a need, but even then, the need, there's an emotional attachment to that need.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very obvious what is being done in, modern religion, whether it's Christianity, even Buddhism, but Christianity's the one that gets used the most because that is our nation's.
Well, it's not only that;
it's most practiced across the globe.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was about to get to that. It's the most practiced religion on earth, literally, if you look at stats. But it's also this, the founding foundation of America. So,
with it being the most widely used religion. In my opinion, I believe that's not by accident. I believe that's by design.
We're told to evangelize, and which I believe in the mission of spreading the word, because obviously you want to spread the good news, whatever they like to say, or
witness rather. And I witness in a different kind of way.
Because you want everybody to get saved or whatever, and go to heaven and see Jesus, whatever, if that's what you're into. And but people, because it's so like forced. Like literally the other day, me and Victor were at the grocery store, well, the other week, these two girls stopped me to invite us to church.
Love that.
And I'm like, like they were sweet and everything, but you could tell it was very forced. Like they were scared, they were kind of nervous. You're like, you don't have to do this. Like, when you're spreading, you
want to do it.
Hope.
You're excited to do it.
You're excited. It should come naturally, just by the people you see and talk to every day. Don't force because then that's when you push people away.
And then you've got, it's like a cult mentality,
right?
Like the Mormon church. I had some Mormon. I still got them saved in my phone.
It feels exclusive. Well,
the Mormons that come and found me at my job when I was working the retail store at Cracker Barrel at Upstate, they were dressed so nice. They were cute, and I was like,
but they're doing.
They just harassed the crap out of me. It was crazy.
That's funny because they
wouldn't leave me alone, and I was a people pleaser back then, especially if it's
I know.
I'm not the person who's going to be mean to the Jehovah's Witnesses that come to my door, especially after. Being roomies with, she doesn't practice as a witness or whatever they call it. They call their, church. They go to meetings and it's a congregation. It's like really political. But regardless, I definitely have friends that have family that are Jehovah's Witness. But even before that, I'm just, because of the people-pleasing tendencies, and I don't believe in disrespecting anybody's religion.
Right.
It's not my thing. Even though I'm not going to, tell them they're wrong. I'm not going to, I might be a little grumpy that they come and knock on my door, at the wrong time. But I'm just going to let them say what they have to say, leave their material, and leave it at that. I'm not going to try to get them to change their minds. I'm not going to argue anything. Because
at the end of the day, they're just inviting you.
Yeah. And that's their belief, right?
Yeah.
It's really not that hard to just let people be.
Just coexist.
Right.
Basically.
And just like oh my God, they handed out those coexist bumpers. I had never seen it before until I went to college. They handed them out like when it came in our goodie bags for move-in day, and I'm like, "What is this?" And everybody's like, "It's sacrilege." And I'm like, "Oh my God, is it really? Is it really, Earl?"
Not Earl. I agree with it. It's just I'm like turned off by it when people have it on their car. I'm like, you know what I'm saying?
Just like the rude, the snobbies, the overboard ones, the extreme. Because you can go too over the top and be like, we cater to too many people other than ourselves, and that's giving pick me vibes. That's giving people pleaser trauma vibes. Like, let's tone it down,
Karen. You're doing everything for show. You're just pushing it and forcing it, just because you want to say that you care more about all these other groups other than yourself. I get what you're saying. I get it.
Oh my God!
And I feel like our father, back to like childhood church. Mm-hmm. I feel like he, looking back, felt like he had to show face at church.
Oh, he did. He's admitted that to me.
Yeah,
because he knows it's a political game, and to be successful in this crooked ass system, you have to play the game, so to speak, without. You don't want to ruffle too many feathers, basically. Right. And that's what we've always been trained to do, is to not ruffle feathers. Don't go too far against the grain. Speak your truth, but don't go too far against the grain. Don't be too controversial. Because look at Miley Cyrus. Man, I'll never forget.
When Party in the USA, that was the most, like, that video was...
Well, that was
the tamest video, but it was literally... It was the first of many.
Well, when she was 15 years old and she posed for... What was it? Vogue? It was some...
I know what you're talking about. 2007 or something. It was like...
She was 15 years old and she was... And it was just like high fashion. It was... And I didn't see... But people were being creepy and like sexualizing it. I did find it a little bizarre that she was...
She said both of her parents were on set that day. And watching it happen, I was like, "Oh, that seems a little."
But like that's very common in those.
Well, I get it,
too,
because they are support system.
I mean, nothing was like. I don't know. I didn't see it. I did after everybody said it. I was like, "Oh, well, maybe that is scandalous," but I didn't see it as overly.
It just seemed scandalous for her age. I think that was the thing. Just because you don't want somebody looking at you sexually as a
star.
Well, just simply because she was a minor. I think it's kind of creepy when they sexualize a minor and they want people to look at a minor in a sexual manner like that.
But I don't think that's what the intent was, because it's high fashion.
I get it. But
so I don't think that was the intent behind that. Like her dad being in one of the pictures, I think that kind of creeped me out.
They like to paint it as high fashion, but I think there's an ultimate goal. They know sex sells. So
well, maybe. But I wasn't a Miley fan as a kid, like, because Hannah Montana, like, don't compare. Do not call me Hannah Montana.
Right.
I mean, she was born
before me. I was obsessed with Hannah Montana, and you got so annoyed by it.
She ain't that much older than me. She's literally a year older than me in some days. Like, BFFR. Be fucking for real. Like, but at the same time, like, that show didn't exist. I existed before the show, so please do not. I'm older than the show.
Right.
Don't fucking do that. I was named after the Hannah in the Bible. Ironic.
Not ironic.
Ironic. Whatever.
Ironic.
So,
no, but see, okay.
I got a Bible verse on my ribs. 1 Samuel 1:27. Hello. So I still believe in, like, the core values. I don't regret my tattoo, even though I choose for the sake of the fact that it's so politicalized.
Now,
I don't call myself a Christian. I've never actually labeled myself in any way. Mm-hmm. I've been baptized. Were you baptized?
See, that's the ironic thing is I've never in my life been baptized. Like, and everybody thinks that's crazy, but I'm like, I've never had.
But really, honestly, I feel like I thought that that's just what I was supposed to do. I do genuinely think that I accepted, Jesus as my Lord and Savior, and that there was someone higher being than me. Mm-hmm. I genuinely believe that, and I still believe that. But you're also supposed to experience, like, this remarkable change, like,
in your heart, like,
and
it's like,
I don't know if that's actually, because I did go through a period. I mean, I became a teenager after that. I got baptized
and you can get re-baptized, like,
2001.
People get baptized multiple times,
and I think that bastardizes the whole concept. But you know, in another aspect, I understand that because you can
People
stray.
go,
But the whole theory behind it, or what they say, is once that happens, you're forever saved. So if you didn't actually get saved the first time, then the first time you weren't actually.
Well, also the baptism to me is not just about, you know, being saved per se. It's the public display
meaning, right?
So it's not just
babies get baptized, in certain,
and they're not mentally capable of, you know. It's more like a blessing. Like I'm putting, you know, blessings over you.
Well, my life was not. My life went for like, after my baptism. So it did not feel like a blessing. I mean, later it became one, but I don't think it's supposed to. Mm-hmm. I understand what you're saying.
It's not going to necessarily. Well, actually, they say when you give your life to Christ, your life is actually going to get harder.
Oh, well, then maybe I was hard in the paint with my.
Because he's going to test you, and you know.
Well, consider me tested because.
Oh my gosh.
I cannot. It's like, can I catch my breath? Can I sit down, take a break, sir?
And see, okay, my
universe, holy power, higher Jehovah, whoever. Can I get a break here? Your girl needs some Gatorade or something, because
listen,
it's awful. It's grand. It's a great experience. I'm glad I have such opposing experiences. I dealt with domestic violence. You dealt with it a little bit. Not to the extreme that I ended up in.
Not nearly as,
but it could have gotten there quick, and that's why mean sister and you got to fighting so much. I held on to that marriage so hard because of religion. Like, that was why I fought so hard to stay. I didn't want to be in that marriage anymore. Mm-hmm. But I thought, like, that was because he never, like, full on beat my butt up. Like, he got physical. Don't get me wrong. It was nowhere to the degree that it was with, Dahlia's dad. But he was more of a mind games, and he cheated on me. And I think that was also given. If you cheat on your spouse, you can. But I didn't want to give up, because it says if you believe in your heart of hearts, and I didn't want to believe. I did not want to have a divorce. I did not want to do it. But now I'm glad. As crazy as it sounds, I'm glad I got to experience that. I got two sides, two different perspectives. We grew up with our parents together almost our entire, me, because I was, it was a month before I turned 17, mm-hmm. I believe. It was 2010. Yeah. Their divorce got finalized. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember begging our parents to divorce, but either way, like...
Yeah, I was like...
Please, y'all get on my nerves. Like, when y'all are separated, it's better.
Were you worried about getting divorced because of, like, going to hell, or what was your main reason you were kind of...
Honestly, it was a fear of failure, mainly. That was the root of it.
Mm-hmm. No, I see that.
I was a perfectionist. I was very dead set on not getting it wrong. Like, I didn't want to be like our parents. I wanted... But
I understand that.
So, and mm-hmm. I thought I was going to be blessed because I did it in the right order. While Daddy, which pissed me off when he said it, and made me laugh too, because I was like, if you only knew the science behind creating that child, it wasn't like, while it seemed to happen pretty quick, and we did kind of elope, so people knew we were getting married beforehand, I think. I don't know. I don't even remember. That's how traumatizing that period of my life was. Yeah. I don't even know. I know everybody knew we were engaged, but I don't know if we told anybody till afterwards. I know he posted a picture of our rings, and that's like kind of the insulting thing. But everybody knew we were engaged, but it wasn't very long. We got engaged December 14th. Mm-hmm. Married December 30th.
Right.
I mean, I got cold feet. I didn't want military. I mean, we had just started dating. We had my thought process when accepting the engagement ring, I considered it more of like a promise ring, but I didn't understand love bombing back then. I didn't understand that. I already started dating him as a rebound. I gave him a pity date. I had gone on a blind date the night before that. This kid was he was older than me. He was 22 years old. He did summer paid internships working for the Miami Heat. But he was like really nice Christian boy. But what threw me off was he was just really awkward, and it was very uncomfortable for me. He was nice. It wasn't that. He was just a little...
I think that's how I got in my toxic relationships in college, was because
I was forcing it with the Christian boys.
I wanted to find a good Christian guy, and then somehow I got intertwined with these extreme scenarios, culty kind of.
But this guy's still, like, I do not see him as that kind of person.
Yeah, and that brings me to the relationships I had in college before I found my husband. The couple of dating situations I had in college, they tie back to church, and they were both very toxic in their own special way. One of the first...
I don't even think I know both of them.
I was actively looking for a good Christian man. I was like, that is, what I'm looking for in a relationship. For, I was dating...
You're dating to marry,
I was dating to marry.
Right.
And as, whatever. But that's what I was looking for. And it turned very toxic. Nothing wrong with the Christianity aspect. It's just, I somehow ended up with two levels of extreme.
Same. Both baby daddies.
I literally, the first person was very, I want to say controlling.
Did I know this one?
Yes, it was the first one.
That was the one that I called the school shooter.
Oh my God, he kind of looked like one. The second one was the one you probably haven't heard in detail about.
Yeah, so I saw pictures of him. That's all I knew, and heard things. But I don't remember.
The first one, that one was a doozy. That one ended up being a situationship because I stayed around because of necessity. The relationship should have never happened because
you kind of felt like because it was like a friendship, right? And everybody kind of pressured y'all into dating, kind of like me and Daniel.
We were just hanging out, and I never saw him like that. I
thought Daniel was cute, so it didn't bother me.
Well, I was never attracted to this guy.
You forced yourself to be attracted to him.
Yes.
That's how me was with Dylan.
I thought he was...
Edward was
I thought he was
buddy.
Gross, weird, creepy, ugly. Not to be rude, but...
he was.
He was
nice when he was nice, though. He was a good love bomber. For what it was worth.
He wasn't a love bomber.
He wasn't hardcore with it. It wasn't in your face, but he was attentive and nice. But it was a little bit excessive, almost stalker.
Yeah, he did stalk me. I had to get a court or a police order against him.
When did that happen, girl?
That was because when I broke up, first I started it as like a break.
When was that? So when did you get the court order?
There wasn't a court order. I meant police order. I had to meet with the police on campus, have it done.
Oh, it's a court order still.
I guess. I don't know. I didn't go to court. It's
literally a no contact order.
It was a no contact order. That's what it was. So basically what had happened was, not to get off track from the religious aspect, but he was very neurotic. It was not healthy the way he was.
I remember.
He was obsessive with trying to be Christian.
And obsessive to the point where it was the opposite. Almost what was the one that's sipping the Kool-Aid with the cyanide? Jim Jones.
Yeah, Jim Jones.
That kind of guy. Because he was... And I made it a point to go out of my way to be as obnoxious but he smoked. You remember that? He smoked.
Used to. When I was with him, he was not.
But he did smoke with us. Or, yes. Yeah.
No, he was mad because No.
I thought he smoked with us.
Maybe.
way,
I mean, I don't remember, but irrelevant. But still,
I think he was on the spectrum. To be honest with you, though,
I think
he had no social.
He was very,
and he was. That's why I think his special interest was
he was so fixated. Yeah, he was so fixated on it, and I was like, you know. Good
so I can identify with that, but it was to a level that was
I told him
dangerous.
This is not healthy. Your infatuation with trying to be this perfect is not helping you at all. It's not healthy. You're taking it too far, and it just got to the point where it was like he would blow up, and it was just very toxic. Then when I had enough of it, and I came to my own spiritual awakening of I shouldn't be with you because I should have never dated you in the first place because he never formally asked me to be his girlfriend.
Oh,
it just
foul.
It just fell in my lap, and I was like, I guess I'll see where this goes. And then it just kept going.
He still follows me on Instagram. You know that?
I haven't blocked on everything.
I didn't know you
He's
had
only
the court order. I had to be after you moved out of my house then because y'all were still together. You were living with me that summer, and of course, we kicked you out. But you know, that's another story for another episode. But it had to be after you left then, right?
Yeah.
When you got the protective order?
It was when I was breaking up with him.
Because the main reason why we were at each other's throats is partly to do because I was trying to get you to see the situation with him.
Yeah.
Of course, I knew it wasn't going to work. The same reason it didn't work for me.
Kind of like how you say, like, you weren't ready
to
leave. I knew it. I just wasn't ready to leave because I couldn't leave yet because, just logistical reasons. I didn't have a car. He drove me everywhere. I didn't have a good living situation, so I had to stay with him every night to get away from my living situation.
I didn't remember that because I didn't know that you ever... Okay.
And so when I went back to school, and I guess it just things were falling apart.
And that's when Mommy was talking crap. It's like, she's just using him anyways for his car.
But it wasn't intentional. It didn't start off that way.
It became a survival instinct because we were raised having to survive.
So this leads me into my second toxic guy in college was because the reason I had the epiphany to finally just bite the bullet and leave him was because I started having feelings for somebody else.
Now I start to remember some of what Mommy was telling me.
Yeah.
Okay. And you didn't know how to gracefully make the cut because he was crazy and you were scared.
I did. I was nice about it.
But you were scared to do it because of his tendencies.
I was scared
because he was creepy.
I didn't get the no contact order before something happened. I got it after.
Well, you can't get one without it.
Well, yeah.
You can technically, but that's another rabbit hole.
Well, so I started easy. I was like, let's just go on a break because at the time I was like, let me just figure this out. Because I was like, I don't even know if this guy knows I exist. I don't know if he likes me like that. I just started getting feelings for him when we had casual convo, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was like, let's go on a break. I just need to figure some things out. We were fighting all the time anyway, so it was like, it wasn't like a shock. Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes he would talk about leaving me too.
He left us while we went to get our nails done. I'll never forget that.
He walked off and left
rude, just so it was selfish.
And so he was like, okay, I understand. He was actually he was upset, but he saw it as we were still together and that he still had a chance. And then he saw me out in public on campus with that dude I had a crush on.
Oh, hell broke loose and he slut shamed you or something, right?
He didn't slut shame me. It wasn't like that. It was and it was innocent. Like the guy that I was crushing on at the time, and he was crushing on me too. He he was just taking me out to lunch
And he was
to talk
accusing
to
you of
me.
cheating or something?
To talk to me. No, he was flipping his lid. We were like, we got on the shuttle, and Mans comes marching on the shuttle, making a scene and saying, "What are you doing? You can't do this." Da 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 da. And I said, "You can't do this right now."
You were so embarrassing. What
Well,
the
no,
fuck?
like it was like the dude was
It is
sitting next to.
scary.
It's scary. Then,
But I'm also like mortified here. Like you catching me out in public where you're like, I feel like that's a weirder situation.
well, yeah, it was in public, and then he starts stalking me. He's coming to the apartment, my apartment at the time, knocking on the door when I'm not home, trying to find me.
That's grounds enough there.
And then he's stalking my friends on campus, trying to get information.
I remember you messaging me, and I was like, finally, she got rid of the son of a gun because you told me to, like, we're not together. He's, like, crazy through. But I was like, I'm going to keep him on just so I can keep an eye on his behavior to see if he, like, posts anything. Like, he's coming for you or something. So.
Yeah. And so. And then he was spying my friends on campus. My friends kept telling me about it. And he was like, "She's my girlfriend. What does he think he's doing with my girlfriend? My girlfriend this, my girlfriend that." Then I was like, okay, he doesn't get it. I need to actually break up with him.
And you have to be mean about it because you tried to be too nice.
I didn't have to be mean. It was just I said a break. Then when I FaceTimed him,
I had to say, "This is donezo for good." Like,
I didn't even have to say a word. He knew. He just knew. I called him and he just knew. He was at work at the time.
Well, I'm glad.
And he just knew, and he was like screaming, bawling, crying in the middle of work at the freaking Walmart. I was like, bruh.
I forgot he worked at Walmart.
I was the one who got him to work there.
That should have been your first clue, though, because I have not met a normal person that works at Walmart.
Well, no, he didn't work at Walmart when I met him. I was the one who told him to get the job. Listen.
That's the only job he could have gotten. Exactly.
Yeah. Well.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Okay, so.
No shade, but there's only a certain kind of person that sticks with it, because he stuck with it, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
I don't know,
because I didn't see him working there anymore after we broke up.
No shade, but this month.
But, and so that was really eye-opening, and I was like, well, I'm doing the right thing. And so, but the stalking continued, and then he was like,
how much longer after that did you have to take out the order?
I waited a few weeks because I was like, I was telling myself it's not that.
Yeah,
I was telling myself it was not that serious. Plus, I didn't want it to get that serious. I was like,
you didn't
it's
want
not
the
that
extra
dramatic.
Drama, exactly.
Right? It's not that dramatic, and I was like,
you're downplaying it. I told you no, that was straight up like because he.
Well, so the guy I was starting to see, the new guy, his roommate / real close friend. He was saying, no, this is more serious than you think.
Because he's a guy.
Because he said it can escalate.
And I tried to tell you too, but coming from a guy, it's more eye-opening.
Well, yeah. He was like, it can escalate. And he said, you need to get a no contact order.
And you wouldn't think to get something like that in that situation. It doesn't even register because we didn't grow up in those.
It didn't cross my mind.
Yeah, it wouldn't have crossed mine either.
Saying, for a couple weeks, I kept saying no, like, it's...
and if you wait too long, you can't get one sometimes unless there's an incident within, like, 2 weeks.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. But they didn't... When I went and got it, they didn't ask about dates and specifics. They just
Well, because it was a pattern of behavior.
Yeah.
So that's a lot easier.
So, then after, like, I want to say it was the third week... Because he kept messaging me. I would block him on one thing. He messaged me on another. I block him there. He messaged me on another. He blocked me there. Or I block him there, I mean. And then, again, he would still keep finding my friends. And my friends would have to report to me. And they're like, I want him to leave me alone. I said, I understand. What do I do? They're like, this is crazy. So, after the last straw... I was like, okay, let's go get the no contact order. So the guy I was seeing, his roommate took me to go do it. Mm-hmm. And
that's very good. And that's probably why you ended up with the next. So what was the situation with him?
He was, so he was still very much involved with his ex. He FaceTimed her every single night.
Oh, that is.
It was, icky. I should have known from the start.
I understand. I did that on. I didn't mean to do that to the poor guy.
The religious aspect is he was kind of like, he was raised Christian, right? But he was like he turned a new leaf. He was like a newfound
He didn't
Christian.
believe it when he was
like, what do you call it? Born again Christian.
Oh yeah.
He was like, so he was
went through a Rough Rider phase. Yeah.
He was going through this whole like revelation, and he's sitting there like
going down memory lane or something.
No, it's more like he was trying, kind of like the previous guy. He was trying to be so perfect, but he was kind of like.
So they were mirroring your reality then.
He was like gaslighting himself, or like, I don't know how to explain it. He was so like,
fake it till you make it.
No, it wasn't like that either. It was just he was so obsessed, like the typical Jesus freak, but it was in a different way than the first guy. The second guy, he was like, I don't know, it was different, but he made me feel as though I was not a good enough Christian because I wasn't obsessed and practiced the way he did. The first guy didn't really make me feel bad.
Like he literally like overtly made you feel bad.
Yeah,
it wasn't just how you.
And he would string me along for months and months.
You weren't a good enough Christian.
He was like, he would tell me
you weren't good. You had to earn his love.
Listen, he told me he loved me, and he would say, but I just don't know.
Oh my God, I've been there.
And he was saying like.
That.
He would say, he would pull the whole, I don't think it's God's timing. But really what he wanted to say was, I was not Christian, or I didn't practice Christianity.
Well, that's what he was trying to distract from what he wasn't emotionally available, because he's clearly still in his ex.
Right. And then towards the end, what I didn't realize is he was seeing someone new.
Oh, okay.
While he was still seeing me. But he had to, he broke the generational curse of, his dad was like a womanizer, and he was too, even though he claimed he broke it. He's like, I broke those chains. Yeah, damn right you did, because you didn't.
You just hid it better. You got better at hiding it.
Exactly, because and then my my best friend at the time, she was also best friends with him. Because it was like a
friend group.
It was a friend group. She was dating his best friend at the time. It was like color guard, drumline.
Yeah, I remember couples. Now. I remember because he did marching band or something.
Yes, they were both the guys. The boyfriends were both on the drumline, and we were both in the color guard, and we were a group, and then we all went to church together. It was like a tight group. So, but she knew he was seeing another girl towards the end. Knowing he was stringing me along, but she never said anything because she didn't want to get involved. And I was like, I would have ended this with him a long time ago if I would have known he was seeing another girl. Like, why didn't you tell me this? But anyways,
I would have been mad.
But
she didn't want to ruffle feathers. It's a people-pleasing thing. But that just makes them get just bad. Knowing.
Okay,
That's
so...
what makes it suck. A flying monkey, if you will.
He would always make me feel as though I was not a good enough Christian. And I went through so much spiritual warfare over that, because I was like, am I not practicing enough? Am I not doing the things I'm supposed to be doing? But I was like, I know in my heart of hearts, I believe. But I went through so much spiritual warfare over that. And then all of a sudden 2020 pandemic hit, and I really had to sit alone with those thoughts.
Oh yeah.
And so I was going through it, but that was how I found Victor. He slipped into my life again. I didn't
you knew him, but you didn't know him.
No, I knew him. We were really tight at work, and
that sandwich place you worked at?
That's where we worked together, and it was so cute.
He wasn't like somebody that was at the front of your mind as
never. We
just
never.
a work buddy. I get it. Oh, that's cute though.
It was very cute because
now he's in the military.
Yeah, right. Right when I started feeling like, okay, I'm happy, content being single,
that's when it happens. It's the law of attachment.
Sorry, we have so many distractions. But to wrap this up in a bow, with the whole religious aspect, even though we've gone on tangents about things, but they all correlate and coincide. We can also dive deeper, take the whole religion aspect deeper into astrology, numerology. Oh my God. We have dogs and babies. Dog mom and baby mom.
I'm over it.
But somehow our episode has turned from religious trauma to childhood trauma.
Well,
I guess they coincide.
Yeah, because it all boils down to religion really is political, and it goes all, it's an umbrella. It
starts at childhood.
And I don't know a single person who doesn't have trauma that is tied to religion. I interviewed a self-aware narcissist.
I used to have panic attacks thinking I was going to hell if I died. I used to have you remember those panic attacks I'd get every time we went to funerals when I was a kid?
No.
Because
you just always were panicking all the time, so I just assumed that was your personality.
Or I would have panic attacks whenever we'd watch Discovery Health. Because I thought I was dying, and I was like, if I die, I'm scared I'm going to go to hell because I don't know.
If you die, no, it's if you kill yourself.
Well, I just thought, I just didn't know if I was good enough. I was like, am
I not ready yet? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is like, it really, I don't know a single person whose trauma doesn't come down to some form of religious trauma in the essence, because it's been so indoctrinated in our culture, in our society.
Religion is, I have to say, parting note, religion, obviously, sometimes I think people forget religion. Organized religion is different than God. Religion
or the
is
higher power, be it whatever you want to call it.
It's just different verbiage.
It's the same concept.
Religion is not God. Just because you disagree with the religion, oh my gosh. Just because you disagree with the church, disagree with whatever religious organization you're a part of or was a part of, doesn't mean you don't believe in God. I think some people think that because they're having differing, opposing views with their church, their religion, that they don't believe or they don't want to believe in whatever. But you can, I've learned I can still believe in God, believe in Jesus, whoever is your belief system. You can still have those beliefs and have disagreements with the church. I think disagreement is healthy anyways.
You need to have an open conversation, because trying to hide and cover up is the toxicity that keeps us stuck and sick, which is where it breeds abuse.
And next time we can discuss the connection between religion and numerology and astrology and how that all interconnects.
Yeah, because we also grew up with those
concepts as well. And I think a lot of people have too. I think there's
we kind of grew up a little bit confused, I think. It makes sense.
We'll dive into this next we'll dive into this next episode.
But, back to that science aspect we were touching on earlier, science and religion complementing and kind of reaffirming each other, not contradicting so much as the people in power, politicians, want us to believe.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I know astrology is a big topic these days. Like girls and guys dating people in the people in the dating world really like the astrology thing. They want to look into it and see.
But it really does seem to be very true. I have yet to meet a Sagittarius that isn't Sagittarius.
I don't know if this doesn't show these. I don't know if this shows the stars aligned or what. But my husband Victor was born exactly 9 months after I was he was conceived exactly 9 months after I was born. I'm tripping.
And is he older or younger?
He's younger. He was conceived when I was exactly 9 months after I was born.
So he's 18 months younger?
No, he's 9 months younger. I can't.
He was conceived when you were born.
Yes. Because that's what I was trying to get at. He was born exactly 9 months after me, so he was conceived when I was born.
When was his birthday? When's his birthday?
January 22nd, 2000. He was literally born.
So minus 4 days.
He was literally conceived when I was born. So
Yay.
the stars really aligned with us. I'm telling you what, me and him have too many coincidences.
That's the synchronicity.
And it's not coincidences. I don't think things happen by accident. It's on, it's a part of the plan. But anyways, if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. We could talk forever, for hours, for days.
And we will.
And
we will.
And we will continue into the astrology in the next episode, in the numerology next time.
We could talk about this for hours, like for real.
And
share. We have a lot of cool stories I think a lot of people could benefit from.
Yeah,
so.
and relate to. Maybe. We have a very unique story, so maybe not, but maybe some. We'll see you next time.
Subscribe.